Their top 4 is pretty stacked.
Hmm.
That's as good a top 4 probably as anybody, right?
I think so. I mean, uh, when you're starting out at the top with Connor Griffin, who's the best prospect in the game, has legitimate MVP upside, franchise altering sort of talent. Even if you just had that, I feel like that would carry your system into the top third. Like the just the rarity of that sort of player profile, the season that Connor Griffin had, like no one ever doubted the athleticism, the secondary tools, and he made such great strides with his swing. The performance offensively was exceptional. He got to his power, he hit for contact. He's proving any doubters that he had defensively wrong about whether or not he can play shortstop and be a legitimately great defender at shortstop. I mean, we've talked a lot about Connor Griffin on this podcast at BA. But it's just worth reinforcing like how talented he truly is. Everyone on the show knows how much I love Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the very best players in baseball. I legitimately think Connor Griffin has that sort of upside if the hit continues to look like what it did this year, if he continues to make adjustments, if he can continue to improve like how he's picking up spin and connecting with spin. I think that's like the one question you can kind of look into his profile and say, okay, this is an area for improvement, but he has a ton of bat speed, he handles velocity. um, Mark writes in his report that he legitimately thinks Connor Griffin could be a gold glove caliber defender at multiple premium defensive positions. Like
Agreed.
the center field defense was never a question for me. And just how good he was at shortstop this year, playing that as his primary position. I mean, he checks every box. He's got the instincts, he's got the hands, his footwork improved. He's got a huge arm, plus arm, plus runner. I mean, this is the sort of prospect that you want to see at the top of a top 100. It was just exceptional all around for Connor Griffin in 2025.
Yeah, he's an absolute mutant. Whatever outcome the Pirates were dreaming of happening his first year out, this was the perfect world scenario that happened. If I'm the Pirates, I'm offering Connor Griffin the Roman Anthony contract this offseason, right?
Hmm.
8 years, $130 million, club option at the end. Maybe you want to throw another club option on there. Why wouldn't you? I mean, he's okay. He's
Well,
19 years
I mean, the
old.
Pirates don't spend any money, so that's why they might not, but I agree that they should.
Well, that's part of why they should. I mean,
Hmm.
the Pirates also signed Brian Reynolds to an 8-year, $107 million contract. Like, I know the Pirates aren't the Mets or the Dodgers, but a contract like that should absolutely be in their comfort range. And it is meaningful money if something were to go wrong and he doesn't end up becoming the player that we're projecting him to be. But if he does, then you have a potential superstar who you can afford to lock up beyond the usual first 6 years of team control.
Hmm.
He's younger than Roman Anthony. He doesn't have MLB experience like Anthony did when he signed his extension. So I don't think you have to top the Roman Anthony contract, but I would make him that offer and try to keep him a Pittsburgh Pirate as long
Hmm.
as I can, um, because the Pirates are not signing players like this in free agency. Like
Right.
between me and you, Carlos, I don't know if you noticed, but like once he's up, and especially the longer he's up, the price tag of an extension is going to increase, and
Hmm.
realistically, the lower the likelihood is that he's going to sign it.
Right. I mean, I agree entirely. I think they should try and figure something out. I mean, he has a chance to make a big league debut next year. He's not turning 20 until April of next year, so there's a chance like I mean, it feels unlikely that he'll reach the majors before he turns 20, just given the amount of playing time he has in the minors so far. But the fact that there's a chance that that could happen is not something I expected to be saying about Connor Griffin at the time he was drafted. The fact that the Pirates have been willing to take on more risk at the very top of the draft board, I love. I think they've done a really, really nice job developing pitching for a long time. This system has been heavy on pitchers, and the fact that they've hit on the talent or seemingly hit. I guess he still hasn't done it in the majors yet, but our expectations are that he's going to be one of the best players who's prospect eligible for obvious reasons. So Yeah, I like how the Pirates have targeted upside early in the draft. I think they need to do that. Obviously, I can't wait to talk about Seth Hernandez, who ranks number 4 on this list. But I do think between Griffin, Bubba Chandler, Edward Florentino, and Seth Hernandez, the top 4 prospects in the system, you're looking at one of the best top fours of any system in the game. And I think all of these guys have a chance to rank as top 50 prospects. I'm not sure how many systems we could really say that for. What are your thoughts on the guys after Konnor Griffin here?
Yeah, on the two arms, Bubba Chandler and Seth Hernandez, I remain a believer in Bubba Chandler being able to develop into a number two starter. He's sitting upper 90s as a starter. He'll touch what 101, 102. It's
Hmm.
life, carry, good extension. When he came up to, he threw a lot of strikes. A strikeout to walk ratio was great, even better than it was in AAA. I think it's all going to click for him at some point. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, Seth Hernandez, one could make a pretty compelling case, and I think you might, Carlos, that Seth Hernandez was the best high school player available in the draft this year. And I wouldn't normally say that about a
Hmm.
high school pitcher, but there was not a clear standout position player who stood out above everyone else. And the Nationals got Eli Willits, one overall, um, really good prospect, switch hitter, highly instinctive player, makes a ton of contact. To be determined how much power he ever grows into. The Rockies at 4 take Ethan Holiday,
Hmm.
outstanding bat speed, left-handed power, patient approach, but swing and miss risk. Likely not a shortstop long term, maybe third
Hmm.
base, maybe outfield corner. And then you have Seth Hernandez, who's athletic, powerful, 6'4" right-handed pitcher, still pretty lean, already up to 100
Hmm.
miles an hour, devastating changeup. Feel to spin is breaking stuff. Pretty good strikes. See what they look like in pro ball, but
Hmm.
um, there's risk with any high school pitching prospect that you can't ignore. But the upside is a front end starter, and when you don't have a Max Clark or a Walker Jenkins or a Grady Emerson this
Hmm.
year, like one of those types of position players at the very top of the draft, then yeah, I think one could make a case that the Pirates got the best high school player in the draft.
And I think you can even remove high school from that
Ooh,
and say that he
spicy.
might be the best player in the draft overall. I mean, we ranked Seth Hernandez number 2 in the class. We had Ethan Holiday number 1. We
Yeah.
consistently talked about how there was not a lot of separation among the top players in this class. We frequently tried to kind of tie this class to 2021 and a 2020 or 2017 class that looking back now, you would much rather have the high school players in those classes. I think the 2017 draft with Mackenzie Gore and Hunter Green um, maybe is something if you're a Pirates fan, you look back at and say, hey, the teams who took a shot on the high school arms in hindsight, that looks really good now. I think that in terms of pure arm talent stuff, size, strikes, I like Seth Hernandez more than all 3 of the college pitchers that went in front of them, and I quite like Tyler Bremner. I quite like Cade Anderson. I think Liam Doyle has just outlier freakish stuff, but when you take all the pieces together, I would rather have Seth Hernandez than all of those players. Now maybe the Pirates are going to have to wait a little bit longer before they can see a return on the investment here, but I legitimately see and saw a case for Seth Hernandez to be the first pick off the board as a high school right-handed pitcher. I mean, maybe that seems crazy because of the demographic and the history of the position, but he's legitimately in the bucket of like best high school pitching prospects I've seen. You have to project nothing on the fastball for it to be a plus pitch. I know that he's going to get some critiques over like what is the fastball shape going to be? Is it going to play down? But I just think it's a hard enough fastball. He has the sort of command and control to where it's going to be a successful pitch. The changeup, like you mentioned, one of the better amateur changeups I've seen. His ability to land that pitch, to expand the zone, and I think that he's going to have a chance for multiple breaking balls that are above average or better pitches too. So I just think it's a potential front of the rotation arm if everything pans out.
Yeah, those fastball shape questions didn't seem to come up last night when Paul Skeens was it unanimous Cy
Funny,
Young Award winner?
funny how that works. I mean, just think about a potential rotation of Skeens, Bubba Chandler, Seth Hernandez. That makes me giddy. Um, and Bubba Chandler is basically ready to join the rotation today. I would imagine there's not a ton more he needs to do, but yeah, really exciting firepower at the top of the system.
Yeah, Mitch Keller, not bad either. And for all the praise we just heaped on Seth Hernandez, he is ranked behind Edward Florentino.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Huge up arrow season for Edward Florentino. Offensively, it's impressive, man. It's like 6'4", 200 pounds, and I remember him from when he was an amateur. I thought he'd be like a lot. I think he still will get even bigger, but he's still pretty lean. Like you can still see
Mm-hmm.
him putting on another 20, 30 pounds. And he just turned 19 a couple days ago. So a left-handed bat, great in the Florida Complex League, great in low A. And what's impressive is it's a swing that's geared to hit the ball in the air. He has
Mm-hmm.
big power and bigger power that's still going to come, I think, once he fills out. But for a guy who has some steepness to his swing that might give you some pause about holes or strikeouts moving up, there's adjustability in there too.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the way he uses his lower half, especially. Like I don't think it's just this grooved one plane swing where he's just going to hit mistakes and that's it. He tracks pitches well. He recognizes spin early. The bat to ball skills are really good, and he hits the ball hard in the air to all fields. Is it plus hit and plus power? I think that's very much
Mm-hmm.
on the table here.
Yeah, the way that Marcus just talked about Florentino in his reporting on the system is super exciting. I think if this is a guy who's eligible in the draft, he's a guy who's very obviously going in the first round. The hit power blend at his age is exceptional. Like some of the numbers regarding like his contact in the zone are really impressive. The way that you talk about the body and the potential gains he can make in the power department as he continues to age is super exciting. It doesn't sound like he's going to be a premium sort of defender or even maybe stick in center field.
I don't
It
think he
just
is,
sounds
no.
like the foot speed is a little bit lacking in that department, and we'd maybe expect that to continue backing up as he adds some more of this physicality we're talking about. But even if you're a corner outfielder, left fielder, right fielder, he does have a good arm. With a six hit, six power combination, I really don't care where you play. Um, it should be rare that we're slapping 60s on both hit and power for players, and it feels like Florentino absolutely deserves it. I'm not sure how much notoriety he has in the larger prospect universe. It feels like he still doesn't get sort of the amount of hype that I think the talent maybe deserves at this point. But I would imagine after this offseason and where he's ranking on this list, just how we're writing about him and what he's done so far, that'll maybe start to come around.
Yeah, I mean, he was mostly in the complex league, and then he got to low A at the end of the year. Yeah, I think you're going to see him become a lot more famous. Like you compare him to say like Josue DePaulo
Hmm.
with the Dodgers, who's a better prospect. I don't know. It's like some some similarities there. I think like it's could be comparable value between the two of them. Two
Yeah.
two really high end, especially offensive oriented outfield prospects. And I think Edward Florentino is probably. I mean, he's the best Latin American prospect the Pirates have signed in a long time. Like I'm trying to think back to who would be the last best guy for them? I mean, O'Neal Cruz was a Dodger signing. They didn't sign him.
Hmm.
Um, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is. Do you feel like there's a little bit of a drop off after top four in this system? I mean, we're obviously praising the top
More
four.
than a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's for
a
top
lot of
50
it.
prospects, so maybe you would expect that. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the 5 to 10 range of this system and deeper? Do you think it just is more of an average type system in that range or like actively bad? Are you kind of concerned about a lack of depth here?
Yeah, I just want like where are, especially like where are the bats? That's where
Hmm.
hit on it forever. But
Griffin and
um,
Florentino, those aren't enough bats for you. You think Pittsburgh
those
needs more
guys,
still?
those guys are awesome. But beyond them, it's like, man, I wish there was a little bit more to show,
Hmm.
especially in the upper levels for bats. I mean, Smerlin Valdez, great in the Arizona Fall League. I think he's a big leaguer. Um,
Hmm.
um, is he the next Barry Bonds, like he was playing in the AFL. No, I don't think that's going to be the outcome, but there's some big league role there for him, like Termar Johnson.
What an
Uh,
enigma.
yes, there's again like there's something there. You just wanted to see more depth of hitters
Hmm.
for an organization that's been I don't know if rebuilding is the word, trying to build the farm system.
Yeah.
You just want to see a little bit more offensive depth beyond the two, really, really good players at the top.
Yeah, if Termar Johnson could kind of get everything together and make it all click at the same time, I think that would do a lot to make you feel more comfortable about what this homegrown lineup could look like because I mean, he still shows flashes of what made him such an exceptional hitting prospect as an amateur. The bat speed is still there. He still seems to understand the zone. He has power, but there are still some clear weaknesses in his game that are maybe more extreme than we expected them to be at the time. I guess the contact is improving. That's encouraging. At first in his pro career, it looked like he was this power and patience sort of hitter who would just get on base a lot and hit for pop, but you're kind of shocked at the lack of contact that he made. It sounds like still like outer third coverage is an issue for him. And again, his defensive profile is largely the same as what it was as an amateur in high school. So he's just going to have to hit. He's going to have to hit for power. Where are you at in terms of your expectations for what Tamar can be? Like, are you more bullish or more bearish about the adjustments he'll be able to make and the sort of impact he could maybe provide for a big league lineup?
Saw some good adjustments this year, but is this an above average everyday second baseman? I think I would take the under at this point.
I think even if he's just an average regular, that does a lot to help. I mean, if you've got some legitimate stars on your organ, and I think JJ and Jeff had a podcast about kind of the Pirates rebuild recently where they spoke to this. But if Konnor Griffin becomes the player we expect him to be, you surround Paul Skeens with a few more arms and Bubba Chandler and some other homegrown types in the near future. I don't know that you necessarily need to have like a top five offense in the game to be a successful team. So if you can just put solid big leaguers around Griffin, around Skeens, that can take you a long way. But we'll see what happens. You definitely would rather your system look a little bit more like the Brewers after the top four, where you just have hitter after hitter after hitter that you can be pretty excited about. And I think also just the timeline of some of these players. I mean, I don't know what your expectations are for ETA of guys like Florentino and Seth Hernandez, but gonna have to wait a little bit.